Elizabeth Riley.
Hi.
So when did we meet? Was it
We met in 2014.
Was it 2014
It was
or
20.
was it
No, we met fall of 2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was October 2014.
And then, and of course, it was through Ian Marshall and
Correct.
Terry Lucas.
Yep.
I think Ian had just come over not too long before, maybe in late 2013, early 2014.
I think he was there about a year before he introduced us. Yes.
Okay.
Because I remember him talking to me about it back then, and I didn't listen.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you had to have somebody check out the model.
Well, you seek wise counsel.
Right.
I mean, you're a nice guy, but
right.
I didn't know what I didn't know. I was at one place for 10 years, and I didn't know what questions to ask. I didn't want to make a mistake. So,
right. So who'd you ask?
Gene Frederick.
Gene Frederick.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, you probably didn't expect that he was going to like the idea.
Absolutely not. No,
Right.
I went to him because he was retired, safe.
Right.
And I knew I could ask him questions. He had been at different models and different companies, and I said, hey, tell me what I don't know. Tell me what questions I need to ask. I'm talking to you,
Right.
and I was talking to Jason, and I wanted to sound intelligent.
Right.
So I just said, hey, check out this model. Tell me what I need to know. And we did that for 5 months. And one day, he was like, if I were to create a model, this is what I'd want to do. I'm coming out of retirement. Let's do this.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously, but you put together a room of different agents in Austin to kind of check out the model early on.
I did. That was before I went to Gene.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
I
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you went to Gene, and
Yeah.
we obviously intrigued you enough. We walked over to a Regis office. You go, where do I go to an office, right? And we were, I think, at the Omni Hotel.
We were downtown.
We walked over to the Regis. I said, well, there's offices all over the place. You just open up the Regis app, and you can go to get an office. And this is a better environment anyway, because people could actually buy and sell real estate.
Absolutely.
That are actually in that space, as opposed to being a competitor.
It seemed foreign at the time, but now it's just, everything we do. But, going back to that room of 20 people,
Right.
one of the other reasons I wanted to seek wise counsel, not only for myself, but people follow me and were listening to me whatever I said, right? And I didn't want to disrupt somebody's business or life by making a decision that I didn't truly understand or truly work out or ask other people. And so that was really the motivating factor to going to talk to Gene, because I didn't want to, taking the risk for me is one thing. But
Right.
when you're putting a bunch of other people that you admire and respect, and risking something for them, it's a different story.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, and that makes total sense. And of course now, how many agents were back then?
I'm 466, so
yeah. So
I
and it was a
think
little
there were
bit-
around 300 when we started
300 and
talking.
something,
Yeah.
When we started talking, so the fact that we went from 466 to 85,000, and I don't know if you want people to know this, but how many people do you have in your revenue share organization?
Okay, I've been asked that a lot this week. So as I checked this morning, 11,091 in my 7 levels.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then I know Brent Gobe's in your group.
Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 in the company are all in my organization.
Okay.
Right?
You're a pretty good recruiter.
Right. Well, and remember what I told you. I'm not interested in rev share. I'm not going to bring anybody to the company. I came to the company because people join people, and I was interested in the eXpCON program and the stock, and you were talking about the rev share and attracting agents, and I told you I wasn't interested in that.
Okay. Yeah.
I've changed my mind.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The rev share kind of worked.
It worked a little bit, yeah. A little bit better than I thought.
Yeah. No, I think the whole models work better than anybody thought, myself included.
Right.
Like, I recognize that these are the types of ingredients that other companies that have been successful had put into their models, and so that's why we put them into it. So the rev share, which is akin to network marketing, direct sales.
Right.
Of course, Keller Williams pioneered it. The 7-level profit share system. We created the 7-level revenue share system, and when we laid out the models side by side, we said, okay, if we design it this way, then we'll be able to beat the Keller Williams model, because it was the fastest growing model.
Right, it was.
Up until that.
And that's where I was for 10 years.
Right.
And I was happy, I was content. But you just brought a different energy, and because you were an agent, I think is important to realize because you understood the holes. And I always tell people, what's the pebble in your shoe? You as an agent understood what the pebble in the shoe was as an agent, wanting ownership, grow your business, and what you allowed us to do was all of those things. And my business, I mean, the rev share piece was one thing, and I didn't come because of that, but my business, if you remember, I was number one at my old company where there were 650 agents, and I was dying on the vine. I was on the hamster wheel.
Right.
And then I came over the first year, and we now had 2,000 agents at the awards ceremony, and I was number one.
Right.
And then the second year, we had 5,000 agents, and I was number one. And when I came up on stage, I was like, are you sure? Are you sure the numbers are right? You're like, you should know your numbers. I'm like, this is just so much more fun. But I realized, okay, something's changed. I'm still the same person. I'm still being intentional with my clients, and I'm being consistent. But what has changed? What changed was my environment. What changed was the collaboration and the model that you presented, and that's what changed my business.
So you're content?
I'm beyond content, and what's helping me now is I'm loving lifting others as I climb.
Okay, so that sounds like you've actually got a new purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got me out of the pain into the purpose.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned that a little bit earlier. We were on a panel, and it was actually the billionaire mindset panel. And in there, I talked about the idea that the first thing we all do generally when we're getting into real estate is we're in pain. We got to pay the bills, right? And then eventually we actually start to make a lot of money, and a lot of people then start to coast. Right. And coasting, I've termed as the first stage of pain until you can find a purpose. So so once you can get into purpose, then it's something bigger than and obviously the income is a byproduct of having a bigger purpose. It's not the reason, but it ends up being like you now earn more money than you probably have. Like you have a use for it, but it's not to keep a roof over your head.
No, it allows me to impact and influence and help other people in bigger ways than I ever could. I can give more, right? It's not about my income. It's about how can I give? How can I change lives? I do a lot of things anonymously,
right? Because
of the power of this model, and it's great because I never ever saw myself here. That wasn't ever my vision. Because in real estate, you kind of have one path. You make money, okay, you start your own brokerage, but you're never really retiring. You're never thinking bigger or giving bigger. And this model's allowed us to do that. And we all have different purposes and paths, and it makes it fun again.
So question.
Sure.
eXpCON, what's been the biggest thing you've seen here that has sort of said, that's something really cool and exciting?
There's been so much. What's amazing to me every single year is how big it is. And my first shareholder, I think we had 80 people there. And so to walk in these rooms now going, wow, all these lives have changed. All these people are in here and they are getting more knowledge, more happiness, more peace, more whatever they need. But we're filling all these souls in a different way. And that's amazing to me. But I think from the stage, and I didn't think this would impact me as much, but you starting to talk about the health is the new wealth. I saw you talking about that, and I know you've been talking about that recently in social media, and I've never been one of the people that's really focused on my health like you. I mean, you're very active, you're always running, right? And we've always known that about you. But then to see the technology behind it and what's going on in the future, I'm actually intrigued, and it's something I think that is my biggest takeaway from this event.
13 years ago, and I'm glad you brought that up, but 13 years ago, we didn't have the ability to track this stuff.
Right.
You can get a blood test, you go to a naturopath, they could sort of tell you, take a little more vitamin D or this or that, whatever. And that was the extent of it. But now we got trackables, wearables, we got Apple Watches, we got Garmin's, whatever. So now we can start to track all this stuff, and now we can track the insight. So we now are in this, AI now can play a role all over for optimization. And that just didn't exist in 2013. So literally, I think Biome and Whoop, two companies that were here this week, both of them started 7 years ago because the technology had finally got to the place where you could actually start to track this stuff and actually make a difference with this stuff. And
what's cool though is that we're aligning with all these companies that, again, 7 years ago they weren't here. Well, not long before that was eXp.
Right.
And I just like that we're always ahead of the game. We're always innovating. We're always doing something a little bit different. And everybody talks about the competition, what everybody's doing. Well, we're so busy focusing on building what we're doing that I don't think we have to look around and see what they're doing because they're so far behind us. They're not implementing success coaching. They're not implementing Viome and health and wealth for their agents. They're not doing the things we're doing, and I just think it's pretty exciting to be a part of that.
Now, are you a success certified coach?
I am.
You are.
I am a success certified coach.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. How was that experience, and how's
Honestly,
that coaching?
it was very intense. And I think I mentioned this last time with you on the panel. I had to figure out my identity again because I thought I was one way, and I realized I was being more adaptive than who I really was, my authentic self.
Right.
And showing up in different ways. And so while it was me certifying to be a coach in the program, I actually took away so much out of it. I was actually in there with Debbie, which was nice because when you're in there with people you're familiar with, you have to be real, but it's also a safe place to be real. But the certified coaching was amazing. 40 hours. I mean, it's awesome stuff. You're surrounded by amazing minds that are doing things bigger and making you think bigger. And I love being a little fish because I can grow so much more than I could being the top dog in the.
Well, we bought this 2 years ago, and since then we've this stuff forward. And with Success.com, obviously Success Magazine. Now we've got Success Coaching. Success Coaching, in my mind, is probably the most exciting part of it. And then we've got segments like Success Health. But the coaching certification, who should do the certification? Who should become a certified coach?
I don't think there's one personality. There's so many people I've talked to. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have so much value to add. Anybody that wants to pour into others and make a difference. And you don't have one personality type that makes that work, right? We were in the certified coaching, we really went deep, deep, deep in the disc. And there's all those people out there that need different coaching in different ways. And so I think anybody that wants to make a difference and they want to give back should be a coach for sure. And I think everybody should be in coaching.
Right.
I didn't hire a coach until a year ago. I never thought I needed one. Until I had one, I realized I'd been missing out all those years. And so our coaches are amazing that I've interacted with. And I think everybody should look into coaching one way or the other.
Just so you know, I'm actually going to go become a Success certified coach as well.
Are you really? You should do it.
So I am. I'm like going, okay, do I have the 40 hours, this, that, whatever? But I decided, okay, I'm going to go do the coaching. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the title or not because obviously I'm doing other things.
But it's still another tool in your toolbox. And that's what I love about you. You walk the walk, right? You're not just up there, pointing fingers and directing, okay, you should do this and you should do this. You actually are getting involved and you're experiencing what we're experiencing so you're more relatable. And I think that's amazing. And I think the success team that you've put together, Jarek, Courtney, everybody, Marcus, Eli, they are all incredibly impactful. And you've done so much for agents in the real estate space. This is just the next level. Right.
And we've just brought over Tristan as the new CMO.
I know. That's exciting. Tristan's going to blow that up on the social media side as well.
Yep. So we're excited about that. So, well, Elizabeth, it's been awesome hanging out and having a little chat.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. No, and it's the event's getting ready to tomorrow, last day. I think there's a couple. I think there's an icon event tomorrow.
There's an icon breakfast tomorrow, which I love the icons.
Yep.
So there's an icon event tomorrow, and there's a success event after that. So I'll be participating with Jarek and Renee on that one, and I think I'm participating with you and Renee and Jason on the icon side. So I'm looking forward to it.
I will be there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I'm just so blessed, and thank you for the journey and believing in me all those years ago, and just making a difference for all of us because it's been a fun ride. And what's more exciting is we're just getting started. So I look forward to continuing this whole journey with you and everybody at eXp.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank you.
Elizabeth.
Thank you.